How's it going, everybody? It's Riley's Redzone here, and in today's video we will be predicting the results of each Week 14 NFL game. And today we have our first ever returning guest picker. If you did watch it all last year, Max was an experimental guest last year for the games, and he becomes the first person to ever, be on the show twice. It's his first time this season. But in today's video, I'm going to go over each game from this week. It unfortunately, we started with a wrong pick this week on the Twitter. Follow at Riley Redzone if you want that to see the picks every week that happened before Sunday. But you know what? I don't think I would have changed my pick because I went with a safe choice as I didn't really know what the Rams QB situation was going to be. They ended up making a good call going to Baker Mayfield, which, he ended up putting up a pretty good performance, and that game-winning drive was phenomenal. And I think I give absolute credit to that coaching staff and credit to Baker there being there for such a short amount of time and already getting a wing. I mean, he literally wasn't on the team the last time I uploaded a video, and he already is, getting a game-winning drive for that team. So, solid there. Unfortunately starts us off with the loss, but I kind of went with the safe pick there, and sometimes it doesn't always go that way. Which, speaking of unsafe here, we do have quite a bit of, we have 3 disagreements this week, as well as, I believe it ends up being about 6 upsets. Overall, we have 3 kind of agreed upon upsets, so it's going to be interesting to discuss this here, as we have a lot of similar thoughts and also some opposing thoughts between me and Max this week, and that starts right off the bat with the Eagles and the Giants. The Eagles have been a team that I've kind of doubted over the last few weeks. I've picked against them a little bit. And you know what? They've been proving me wrong a little bit there. I think that I was kind of under the impression that they're doing so well that at some point you'd think they'd get caught, but they have not. So I'm going to go back on the side of I'm kind of going to pick them until they lose. It seems like when you have a team either in a win streak or lose streak, you kind of got to hold on with them and roll it out, because if you keep taking a chance that the other thing will happen, it will eventually happen, and I know that will, but it's going to end up costing me more games if I keep taking the chance than if I just play it safe until we really see something change. But this is incredibly close to me, so I'm going to go with the Eagles as a safe choice. They put up a good performance against Tennessee last week. I really think that they are truly a decent team, and I also think the Giants are. I really like the Giants' chances here, and if I were looking at the spread alone, I would actually lean the Giants side, but for winning the game, I think I have to go with the Eagles. But Max makes a solid choice here. I really can see this happening. I'm really on the fence. I completely agree with for sure, the spread part of it. I think this will be a very close game. What also is weird is this is a game where I'd kind of say maybe the home team wins or you split the games, but we haven't seen the two play yet this season. They still have to play again. So I'm going to go with the safe pick, but I have a feeling that the Giants could end up winning this, but I'm going to play it safe for now. But this is a solid pick, I think, from Max overall. This is one of my... looking at what will happen here, I think I'd call it almost my upset of the week, but I am going to go with the Eagles just for safety there. Bills-Jets, another one where the Jets have not been bad over the last few weeks. Even they don't quite pull it off against the Vikings last week, but they still showed some signs of life. And the Bills, they lose Von Miller is very unfortunate. But I still think that on paper they're one of the best teams in football, and I can't really pick against them right now. And Max thinks the same here, so I think it's just a safe call to go with the Bills in this game. Now the next one's super interesting. All week the discussion's been about the Lions, and I completely agree with that. I should specify the Lions, with no O, versus for the Lions, because the Lions are favored at home, and I understand that they have been very, very good recently, specifically on offense. You can make a case they've been one of the best teams over the last 4 or 5 weeks or so, but I think that it's hard to give them the favorite. I mean, I would like this as a surprise upset pick if the Lions, were kind of against the odds here, but I can't really do that. I think that since they're favored, I just don't know. It's one of those things where I'd like this to be a nice surprise pick, but they're favored. And I just think that this is another one I have to play safe. You'll see I kind of take some risks later in the picks. I think I have to play it safe here, even though it's technically an upset. Another part of it too is, since I've been a Vikings fan, I've seen this team years and years. This is the type of game the Vikings normally lose. But this year, they have been winning games they don't normally win. And so I got to believe a little bit, and this might end up biting me later in the week, but I have to believe a little bit that they might have actually changed a little bit, might be a potentially, actually decent team here. I think that their record, although, I just watched a video today on if, one possession games were flipped, they'd be like 1-11. But hey, they are, 10-2 right now. They are absolutely in contention here to be one of the top teams in the NFC. So I think to not give them a little bit more credit is interesting. But me and Max are on the same page there. We're both going to take them there. And then another one where it kind of, once again, last week I picked against a stat where the Chiefs, hadn't beat the Bengals in a while, and I picked them and it didn't work out. Well, I'm going to go with Joe Burrow here, who hasn't beat Cleveland yet, but I'm going to go ahead. I think he gets it done. I think that Joe Burrow he's been playing one of the best QBs in football over the last few weeks, and I think against the Browns, I think Watson's still rusty. I'm going to go with the Bengals there. I think they get it done, and I think that just like last year, the Bengals are a team that's really gaining momentum going into the playoffs, which is exactly where you want to be. Then Max thinks the same as well. But the Cowboys-Texans, have to go Cowboys here. Can't really pick the Texans right now in any circumstance. Maybe in the spread, but not in the overall picking the games. I do think they'll get at least one more win this season at some point. But I really don't think this week is the week with them matching up against the Cowboys. Then we have the Jags and the Titans. Titans, of course, fire their GM this week after not getting that win against the Eagles. But the Jags, I don't have confidence in them right now. I don't think the Titans are one of the best teams in football, but I think against the Jags that they have to be the favorite as they are, and I'm going to go with them there. I think it makes sense. I just really can't pick the Jags, and Max thinks the same. Now, our next game is a disagreement. The Steelers have been rolling over the last few weeks, and so I got to give credit to them there. I picked them a few times, and that's been working out, but I really like Tyler Huntley. I know that Lamar Jackson's going to be out for the Ravens, but I think that Lamar is hopefully going to get back by the end of the season, soon. But I think that Tyler Huntley, I liked him coming out of Utah. And, he goes undrafted, but, he's not phenomenal, but I think he can get the job done. Pickett's been getting better, but I like Steelers because of their defense, not necessarily their offensive capabilities. So I'm going to go with the Ravens because I think that their offense is more trustworthy, even with a backup quarterback. I think that, Huntley has enough experience in this offense and enough of a skill level of what Lamar can do that I think that they'll be fine this week. I'm going to go with the Ravens here, which is the underdog pick. So a decent pick from Max as well. The Steelers have proven to be decent over the last few weeks, so I totally understand that pick. We're both going with the Chiefs. I do think that the Broncos have a stingy defense, and I would definitely think, I don't know what kind of the numbers are, but I certainly think this will be a low-scoring game. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos keep it close within the spread. So I think it's safe to go to Chiefs here, but I do think that the Broncos could put up a fight. Now, the Seahawks, I think, will take care of the Panthers. The Panthers, have just been kind of all over the place this season. But the Seahawks, have been consistent, I'd say. They haven't always been getting it done, but they've just kind of been average to a little above average the whole season. And I think playing a team like the Panthers, that will be just enough to get it done. And Max thinks the same there, too. We're both going to go with the Seahawks. Now, what's interesting is we both go with this upset. I like Brock Purdy as an option for the Niners. I don't think their season is sunk right now, and if they really need, they have Josh Johnson as a backup who's an experienced player. But I just think that at some point the Bucs are really going to catch on fire a little bit. going into the playoffs with Brady. And I know they have not been very up to par this season, and I think at some point that's going to change. So I think this week that Brady can get it done. They are the underdog against the Niners, even with Brock Purdy at quarterback. Once again, I really like the Niners. They were my Super Bowl pick this season, and I still think they have a shot. It's not looking great now going down to their third QB option, but I think they'll still be a valid team that could perhaps get like a wild card win. I might end up having to change my pick for who makes the Super Bowl when we get to playoff time, but I think they're still a valid team. I think this one will be a close game, but I gotta trust the vet in this one. Now, the most difficult game in my opinion to predict, this is the only one that I've flipped since the beginning of the week, is I'm going to go with the Chargers. This is all feeling based, but I have a feeling that the Chargers are going to do what the Chargers do. I think they're going to pull out a few wins that we don't expect them to, like a game like this, and I think that they'll, maybe lose the different one that they should win, but I'm going to go with the Chargers here. I think that Herbert will put up a great performance. I love what the Dolphins are doing. I once again think they're a great team. Offensively, they are putting up great numbers, but this is all feeling. Mathematically, statistically, it makes sense to go with the Dolphins here, and I was most this week, but I just think Herbert might show up tomorrow. I think Herbert can do pretty well, and it looks like they're going to get Mike Williams back. I think that the Chargers have kept, it reminds me of like the Lions at times and the Bears when Fields was healthy, of a team that they keep playing it close, and at some point something's got to go their way, and I think that eventually the Chargers will get a win, and I think I'd like to see them get into the playoffs because I would rather see what Justin Herbert can do in the playoffs than Mac Jones-led Patriots or maybe a Mike White-led Jets. I just think I would like to see Herbert Allen or Herbert Mahomes, even Herbert Tua Part 2 or Herbert and Burrow. I'd like to see them in the playoffs. So I think that they'll get it done and maybe squeak in there. So I'm going to go with the Chargers over the Dolphins this week. And Max goes that direction as well. That was interesting to see as we both have an agreement there. And now this last game, we do have a disagreement on the Monday night. I'm going with the safe choice. I've picked the Cardinals a number of times this year, and they haven't quite gotten it done for me. And for that reason, I totally understand Max picking this. I think that they have more firepower offensively, but I have to go with the safe choice. I think that the Patriots just kind of are more of a balanced, a little bit more just kind of moderate versus I think that the Cardinals are kind of up and down. They seem to put up really good weeks, and then some weeks it seems like the train has fallen off the tracks. But I do think at their best they have more potential than the Patriots. So I understand that picks from Max. So those are the picks from this week. We're getting towards the end of the season. I'm hopefully going to still have guest picks the rest of the season, and then you'll stay tuned. Book it for. Now I guess it's week 18 instead of week 17 as the final week. Something good is going to be planned. So make sure to stay tuned for that. I really appreciate the support on the last video since I was gone. And so I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one.